Before we start off today's video, if you guys would like to join my Discord server, link will be in the description and it will also be in that pinned comment. If it's been more than 7 days, then please use the latest video as that's the one that will be working. But anyway, let's get right into it. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. This here is the MG ZT260, or if you're American, the MG ZT260, you crazy Americans, Z and all your crazy nonsense. But speaking of America, this is a Mustang powered V8 saloon car. So, I hope that's enough excitement to prepare you for today's video. So let's get right into it really. So, when it comes to the exterior looks, the front, well, it's very similar to other sporty MGs. You know, it's got the normal lights and then it's got like a mesh grille sort of design, sort of like on the ZR, I think you call it, the one that's based on a Rover 25. I think that. Anyway, the mesh grille definitely does add a bit of aggressive looks to it. I think the overall design also helps, although I'm starting to see like nostril flares in the top bit, but you also got your two lamps as well, and then you got other lamps as well, but it's not ugly and it is actually aggressive. Then the facelift, which again, like on the ZR and other sporty MGs, you had the exact same grille and the same light design as well like the rest, and it looks better as in just generally, but it looks less sporty because it's not a mesh design. But either way, both work for me. Both are actually, you know, aggressive enough for this kind of car. The side profile, well, you know, the car is technically just a Rover 75. But okay, it's not just a Rover 75, you know, we'll get into that later. But the actual like shape of it, you know, a lot of it is the Rover 75. And so that is technically why the side does look like this. But as a result, it does kind of look bland. I mean, I know you got different rims and you got low profile tires, and you know, I'm pretty sure it's been lowered somewhat, and you might be able to see some of the exhausts from the side, but still it's not much. And the rear, well, I know that MG Rover technically don't have a lot of money at this time, but you know, even so, you know, the lights, they just, I mean, technically lights don't really matter in a sports car or a supercar as long as they indicate brake, reverse and have a headlight, they don't really matter. But anyway, also the number plate really bugged me on this, how it's so massive. That's unnecessary. But you do have the quad exhausts, which definitely does add a cool look to it. Also a sporty look as well. And it does look like to have some sort of a little boot lip spoiler sort of thing. But the rest of it is just, you know, it's just like a normal Rover 75. And the rear, well, it's been changed slightly, so the bumper does look somewhat different. It looks very similar, but honestly, if I had to choose, I would choose this one, even though they do look very, very, very similar. When it comes to the interior looks, well, it's not great. Let me put it to you like that. Like, you got the two horn things at the side of the steering wheel, like on an R50 Mini. The gauges, they look oval instead of circle. The rest of the design, well, I mean, they put V8 under the clock, which is, well, you know, they're showing that they appreciate the V8. And the design, well, it's just plastically black by the looks of it. I haven't actually been in one, and, you know, reviews of old cars like these aren't the best. They don't give you too much details on things. But if I look to it, well, it doesn't look like too much, to be honest with you. It does look somewhat bland as well, besides that little screen, which is offset to the passenger side instead of the driver's side. But either way, it's not much. Let me put it to you like that. Like I said, you know, MG Rover, they don't have a lot of money, especially at this time anyway. When it comes to the performance, well, it has a 4.6 litre V8 Mustang engine, naturally aspirated with 256 horsepower. And I know that does sound very underpowered for a V8 engine, but don't forget, this is the earlier V8 models where, you know, they didn't produce a lot anyway. But torque, well, that's quite high at 302 pound-feet of torque. That's like the 2 litre turbocharged flat 4 Subaru engine torque you get out of that. It is rear wheel drive. Now of course they had to change it to rear wheel drive because the normal one is front wheel drive, so they have had to change it and modify it somewhat. It does weigh 1,680 kilograms, which is, well, whoa, that's a lot. Apparently it's about 200 kilograms more than the standard 75, which means the 75 it also weighs a lot as well. Gearbox is a 5-speed manual, which I know what you're thinking, 5 speeds with a big V8, but I do believe that the gearbox was also from Ford as well, if I'm not mistaken, and don't forget they just had to pick at things. That's why they chose this engine. It's actually quite cheap, and well, they needed to get something cheap. 0 to 60 is 6.2 seconds, and the top speed is limited to 155 miles an hour. So in a straight line, it is actually definitely, it's no slouch. When it comes to the practicality, well, the boot is 432 litres big. Now, unfortunately, I don't actually know, the rivals, what their boot size was, but 432 litres definitely seems adequate. It's not terrible, it's reasonable, it's useful. The rear seats, well, again, reviews don't say much, and one review said the rear seats was cramped, but whether that means both head and leg room, I don't know. But, I wouldn't say it is very tight. I mean, it's not a small car, so by the looks of it, the legroom actually seems somewhat decent, but the headroom, unfortunately, I cannot tell you. I mean, it might be like most other cars where, 6-footers, they either will struggle or they can just survive for a little bit of a journey. When it comes to the handling and comfort, here's where I talk about the Rover 75. So you see, like I said, it is a front wheel drive car and pretty much not much was done to it. But the MG 260 ZT, they had to completely change it. I mean, firstly it's rear wheel drive, it's got a humongous engine with, I think, the Ford gearbox. I believe the rear suspension was from Holden. I don't remember where I read that from, but I read it somewhere, so if that's the case, then that's the case. But suspension has also been completely reworked. Everything has been reworked to be able to fit this big V8 engine and for it to actually be able to drive, not like a Rover 75, basically. So the handling, well, it was very fun, I'll give you that. It was able to drift really well. You look on Top Gear, it just drifted everywhere. You look at this image and it's in the middle of a drift. Handling itself, well, I'd say it was alright. It wasn't terrible, but it was somewhat fun because, you got, like I said, you got the drifting and all that, and, that's kind of part of handling as well because it is going around the corner. So I wouldn't say it's awful, it's adequate enough. And the comfort, well, one review says it actually rides decently well for a sporting saloon, but another review said that it can be kind of rough on the rougher surfaces. So, which one, I don't know. I don't know how to adjust with that one, to be honest with you. Is there anything else worth noting? Well, if you would like a normal Rover version for whatever reason, you could get the Rover 75 with the same 4.6 litre V8. However, it has an automatic gearbox instead of that manual gearbox. So, well, it's more of a leisure car then, shall we say, with a big shouty engine. And if you wanted an estate, you could get one known as the ZT-T. T presumably means Tourer, I'm guessing, I really don't know. But anyway, what is the verdict? So the pros are, it has a good front end, it has a decent boot, straight line performance is, well, good. It has huge potential when it comes to drifting, it is very fun with that. The rear seats, well, the space is reasonable, we'll call it that. However, the cons are, the ride can be rough. I wasn't sure whether to add it to the pros or the cons. I really wasn't sure, so I just added it to the cons because if it is, it doesn't really matter. It's, it might be something, I really don't know. The rear does look a little bland, as well as the side profile. Reliability is something I didn't mention, but considering it is a Rover MG thing, reliability, well, like BL cars, it's just, I don't think I need to go on anymore. and interior just frankly isn't really it for me, to be honest with you. But like I said, you know, I mean, you can sort of give them a little bit, I wouldn't say credit, but forgiveness, because don't forget, they don't really have a lot of money, so they just have to do what they have to do, really. But anyway, if you guys would like to check out my reaction channel, which I'm currently quit, but I do have a video in the makes, technically 2, so if you'd like to check it out, link will be in the description below. Next car, unfortunately, I don't know, but on my Discord server, someone has said that they would like to see a car, so that could be a possibility. So we'll see if that happens, or if that happens in the future. But if you have a car you want me to review, then you can let me know in the comments below. And that is it, so I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.